Hey, what is going on, you guys? It is Mr. No Sleep here from Old School RuneScape, and welcome to a brand new video for you all today. So today, at long last, I bring you guys loot from 10 hours of Corrupted Gauntlet. The goal for this video is to obtain as much profit as possible and hopefully as many crystals as possible. Now, I will kind of walk you guys through how I go about getting to the boss. This was the very first attempt for this video, so don't judge me too hard. It had been about a year and a half since I'd last done Corrupted Gauntlet. Obviously not really an expert here because I only had 27 kills coming in. But here we have all the resources that I was gathering first, this being 6 ore, 6 bark, and 6 linums. Not too sure how to pronounce that word, but, you know, it's the white thing in the inventory. Then after this, I would get 3 herbs, whether it would be from killing a monster or just picking them from a bush, because those 3 herbs would make me 3 potions, which is essentially a prayer potion as well as a stamina potion. And then I would gather 2 weapon frames from killing either the bosses or killing monsters. And then I would make 3 vials. I would acquire 400 shards and then about 15 to 20 fish. I would always make a crystal staff attuned, and that would be the main weapon that I would use to either kill the dark beast, the dragon, or the bear. Of course, I'd end up killing 2 out of 3 no matter what each run, but I did find that the crystal attuned staff was definitely the way to go in order to kill those things somewhat quickly, as well as all the other monsters. Now, it really was dependent on what my first rooms were when I would light them up. These nodes here that I'm lighting, sometimes I would light up 3 rooms as soon as I started, and it would all be fish. So I would just fish, 20 fish and cook them, drop them, and then I would gather resources. Other times it would just be monsters, so I would, kill them as much as I could, get as many shards as I needed, and then I would go about getting resources. Because you can get these raw paddlefish by killing the monsters and the bosses, or you can just fish them. That's kind of up to you. And I will be completely honest, I've never looked up a Corrupted Gauntlet guide. I've only looked up a normal Gauntlet guide. I believe it was Mr. Mammals back when I did 10 hours of that about a year ago, probably longer. But either way, it's kind of the same thing every time. It just, sometimes you just might switch up the routine that you do to acquire everything that you need for the boss fight. And this specific run, I was having trouble finding the dragon, so that kind of cost me a lot of time there. But as time went on, I was getting better and better, and of course, there will be deaths during this 10 hour, but I wanted to make sure that I did 10 hours of perfect Corrupted Gauntlet, which means every single death that I did have, I did not include it in the 10-hour grind. I just did 10 hours of perfect Gauntlet, and then all of my death compilations would just be extra time that I would spend, and that would be a sweet little compilation for you guys at the end. Now, the 2 boss monsters that you can run into that I was killing mostly was the dragon and the dark beast. This would give me a perfect staff as well as a perfect bow, and usually that's how I went about killing the boss at the end, was using the bow as well as the staff. But you can also kill the bear and you will get a halberd, and personally I think the halberd gives more DPS, so it took me a little bit to get used to using that halberd, but I really do enjoy it. The only difference is when you use the halberd versus the staff and the bow, you don't have as much range and you don't have as much distance between you and the boss, and that can really impact your kill here because there's so many tiles and there's so many tornadoes when you're fighting this thing that the more distance you have, sometimes the safer you are. But it really just depends on how experienced you are and what your preference is, because everyone's different. Everyone has their own way to do this, but I don't want to mislead you guys, so don't look at this as the prime example of how to do Corrupted Gauntlet. Just look at this as kind of my way of getting back into it, and of course I would get better over this 10-hour grind. Especially the last 2 hours, I felt like I had pretty much mastered it. I had completely stopped dying, and the tornadoes was giving me the worst trouble. In the very beginning, it was actually just getting to the boss that was kind of annoying. Just being able to do everything in the amount of time that you were given was kind of stressing me out. Definitely was not able to be on a second account for this video. There's absolutely no way. I did Amethyst for like the first hour, and then I said to myself, nah, it's just not worth it. And I couldn't even listen to music or YouTube videos. This was all in silence. I just had to focus because this is really intense. I mean, you're talking prayer switching, weapon switching, running, avoiding tiles, projectiles, avoiding tornadoes. Definitely the most challenging 10-hour video I have done yet. And, you know, my first attempt wasn't my best attempt at all, but I didn't want to fake it and act like I did it perfectly, because the reality of this is that mistakes will happen. I'm not going to say they'll happen to everyone, because maybe you're someone in the thousands of kill count and you never die, so I won't include you in that. But me personally, I kind of die everywhere, even when I have thousands of kills in the, you know, whatever boss I'll be killing that day. But other than the first death on the very first attempt, I pretty much just didn't include any of my deaths live. I always just put it at the end of the video, so you guys will see all of my failed attempts after we do the price check. And overall, I'll just openly say this video took me about 16 hours to do instead of 10 hours. So that is 10 hours of successful attempts, and that is 6 hours of dying. That's why this video took a little bit longer to do. I was also doing some real life things the last few days, so I do apologize. 3 days with no video. That is not okay. But I do have a video planned for you guys tomorrow night and every other night until the month is over. No sleep November, you know. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was, like I already said, the most challenging one yet. I don't see anything in the near future that will be harder than this one. But the potential of profit is huge here. We can also get a pet if we are lucky enough. So, you know, that alongside all of the combat tasks that I will obtain, because I haven't been here since combat tasks were released into the game. Overall, I think it should be a pretty incredible video. I mean, even if we were to get 0 rares, this is still one of the best money-making methods in the game, just hourly rates of making money. So I'm really excited to see the price check. The Gauntlet, and especially Corrupted Gauntlet, is very well known for giving elite clue scrolls as well. So hopefully we can capitalize on those and do as many elites or masters, whatever I decide to do during this video. But we will just have to wait and see. Now, what you're seeing on screen here is my first attempt during this 10-hour grind at using a halberd, and I was pleasantly surprised at all of the consistent DPS that it was giving out for me. A great benefit of knowing how to use the halberd and actually getting the Hunlift kill with it is that you don't have to just go for the dragon and the dark beast spawn anymore while you're getting to the boss. You can actually just go for the bear or the dark beast or the bear or the dragon. Sometimes I would even run into just 2 dark beasts or 2 dragons or 2 bears, and once you kill one, you'll get the item from them. For example, if I killed 1 bear, I would get the halberd piece, and then if I killed a second bear, it would be a gamble. I would either get the bowstring or the crystal orb. So at that point, it would save me a lot of preparation time, and this was pretty much just as soon as I got this kill with the halberd that I was able to kind of maneuver around just finding the specific bosses that I did in the beginning of the video for the first fight to just finding 2 of any of the bosses. And my way of doing this was really I would just run to the end of all the sides of the room. So for example, I'd go all the way southeast or all the way southwest, and eventually I'd run into a boss. I usually never found them in the middle rooms or anything like that. I would always find them at the end of one of the sides of the rooms. I hope I'm making sense here. And this worked out really well. So it saved me a lot of prep time, and you know, I was getting better and better, quicker and quicker. There was quite a few occasions that I even had 2 minutes left right as I clicked the door to kill the boss. It might seem impossible. It is a lot, and it's definitely overwhelming compared to the normal Gauntlet. But believe me, you will get better. It's true when people say practice makes perfect. Definitely not perfect at this, but it will make you, you know, it'll make you die a lot less. Let's put it that way. Someone needs to tell Jagex to remove this elite clue step where I have to go get a pyromancer top, a straw hat, a Shazian top. I mean, it's just too much. So I turned that elite clue that I got into a master. So I'll do that at the end. Hopefully get some more elites in the meantime. And yeah, you can imagine sometimes I was a little frustrated based on the typing. That's because this is frustrating to do so consistently. You know, most of the time the things that I do for these videos are very laid back. I mean, strategies are one thing, but it's really not that challenging to do, like such as a thing like King Black Dragon or even a wilderness boss. But this thing is just constant clicking, constant you know, being on the clock, being timed. You have to do these things almost perfectly just to reach the boss or you will mess up. I did acquire a new personal best that being 9 minutes and 7 seconds. So that was a huge accomplishment on my part. Yeah, this was not laid back or relaxing at all. It was frustrating, and that's why this video took a little extra to do, because I wouldn't really recommend you to grind so many consecutive hours of corrupted Gauntlet, because your hands will get tired. You might get a little frustrated. This is probably something better to do in segments, you know, 2 hours here, maybe do a farm run, do a couple hours of something laid back, and then come back later on during the day. That's my advice anyway. Here we have the first drop of the video, this being a Crystal Armor Seed, 4.7 mil, round that up to 4.8 mil. Not bad, you know, rewarding me for my efforts. I do appreciate it. It is not the most expensive seed you can get here. There is another one that's cheaper though. It's about 190k, I believe, and then the other seed is over 100 mil. So, you know, that's the crystal that I want to see. Hopefully we'll pull that off by the end of the video, because that would help me out so much. While I was woodcutting the bark, I did actually finally get 51 mil woodcutting XP, so that's pretty cool. You know, you don't need redwoods for all your XP. You do get a little bit of fishing as well as woodcutting and mining XP in here. It's very minimal, but it will add up very slowly over time, so that's something to keep in mind. And for the most part, I did keep most of my drops in the inventory. I did bank it at one point, and then I just had a full other inventory for this video, so really just 2 inventories for this 10-hour grind. And here is yet again another seed, this time the Crystal Weapon Seed. As I mentioned, 190k. I was happy to see it, but man, oh man, this just motivated me more to get the other seed that's so much more money. That would definitely break all the records for most profitable 10-hour videos so far. So let's hope we get it. On average, if you're efficient and, you know, well, I would say somewhat efficient, you'll be completing a corrupted gauntlet in 10 minutes or less. So in my view, 10 minutes, you know, 6 gauntlets an hour, 60 gauntlets in 10 hours. So that was my goal for this one. I couldn't really justify it any better than that. 60 corrupted gauntlets would be 10 hours of, you know, no deaths. And then again, all of my deaths would be at the end, and I really wouldn't factor them into this 10-hour at all. I just kind of saw that as my fault, my mistakes, and each death would just make me want to get the kill even more, because it would just cost me more time. And speaking of time, we are 12 minutes into the video, and it looks like this is the final kill of the 10-hour grind. This will be number 60. Again, we started with my first corrupted one being completed at 28 KC, so it makes sense that we are ending at 88 KC, a total of 60 corrupted gauntlets done in a efficient time span of 10 hours. Of course, the very last one that I do not get the seed that I was looking for or the pet, but I did get an elite clue scroll. So way to wait till the end there, Jagex, but I will take it, and maybe we'll get a third age item from it to make up for the fact that we didn't get anything too crazy during this video. Although I am very thankful for receiving that seed that was worth 5 mil. I believe that was the Crystal Armor Seed. That really does come in handy. That affects the price check dramatically. So speaking of which, let's just go ahead and get into that price check right away. I did receive 418 crystal shards from this 10-hour grind. I almost got 1 million GP. Unfortunately, I only got 1 dragon halberd, so very much slacking on those, but that is all right. The very first price check, everything excluding the seeds, comes out to be 9.2 million GP. Not a bad start, not too bad at all. Let's go ahead and price check the seeds as well as the shards. We all know these shards are untradeable, but they are valued at something because you can pretty much make them into so many different things that you can sell. So the overall value of the shards is actually 2.5 mil, about 6k each. And we have about 5 mil coming in from the seed drops. So that's pretty good. About 9.2 mil plus 5 plus 2.5 comes out to be 16.7 mil from 10 hours of corrupted gauntlet. Go ahead and open up these clues now. But overall, that's close to 1.7 mil an hour. Of course, not counting the deaths. So that's not too bad at all. I definitely could have gotten luckier, but I'm not going to complain. Pretty average reward from the clue scrolls. Took about 16 hours total to do this video, but had I not had a single death, it would have been a solid 10 hours. Overall, I attempted 96 gauntlets. I did complete 60 of them. We'll go ahead and look at the Rune Light loot tracker here in a second, and we'll see all of the low tier drops that you can get from, you know, attempting a corrupted gauntlet, these being like adamant items, mithril items, cakes, and pickaxes, you know, nothing too crazy there. And of course, all all of the other loot that was completed. Alright, so here is the RuneLite loot tracker. 2 Elite Clue Scrolls, 2 Crystals, 418 shards, decent amount of rune items and gems as well as runes, arrows and whatnot. But the number one thing that you have to remember about Corrupted Gauntlet is it's really all about luck. Now I want to show you guys my girlfriend's luck. She's actually the one who inspired me to make this video because as you can see, it's almost the exact same kill count, just 8 more, and she was able to complete the whole collection log. That is a seed worth 163 mil, as well as the pet. I mean, that is absolutely incredible. And by the way, that pet is, I mean, it's just amazing. Really complements her outfit fashionscape wise. You can metamorphose that pet from red to blue. And she was just going for 100 Corrupted Gauntlet for the high scores. So that's just insane that you can get so lucky and the price checks can be so much different depending on how lucky you get. Now, I really wish I had her luck for this one. But needless to say, maybe my luck will return in the future with another loot video. But I just wanted to show you guys that, to show you the true potential that you can get here. So don't look at this as 1.6 mil an hour. Don't look at this as, you know, just something you're going to constantly die at. Obviously, you might think that when you see all of these clips now. But just judging on my price check versus my girlfriend's, it's really all dependent on luck to get the real money here. And of course, the real money being the seeds. So I just wanted to show you guys that to restore your faith that this can be extremely profitable and is very beneficial for Iron Man accounts as well. And this will help your clicking around RuneScape no matter what, because if you can kill the crystalline Hunlift, then the odds are you can probably do most bosses in this game, because this is not easy by any means. So hopefully that motivates you guys a little bit more compared to my price check to check out the Corrupted Gauntlet. And remember, there's always the easier version Gauntlet, which is a walk in the park compared to this one. I mean, I truly don't think I would ever die at the normal Gauntlet ever again compared to the practice that I've had at the Corrupted. So with all of that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your patience with this one. I will definitely be seeing you tomorrow night with either 10 hours of Syrachnus or 10 hours of Twisted Banshees. You know, we always gotta have an AFK'd Iron Man video in there somewhere. And I do miss being on my Iron Man. I was not able to play on him the last 48 hours, so it's kind of upsetting. But either way, thank you guys for everything. Thank you for the generosity. Thank you for the positivity, and I will see you next time, ladies and gentlemen. And until then, Mr. No Sleep out.